Hello, we are going to cover Excel Module 3 SAM Project 1B. I've already gone into my tab here and I have changed the name by right mousing from report to sales report, and that's simple as going in and typing that in, making sure you have a space. And then make sure that your sales report is center aligned here. Now we're going to move on to unfreezing the panes. Would be simple as you going into view and clicking freeze panes, unfreeze. So that's the point we're at right now, and we want to start with K2. Here we want to put in a formula that uses the now function. That way every time you open up this Excel spreadsheet, it will have the current date. So to do that, to do a function, you do equal now. And we don't want to put in a date. We just want our parentheses so it will give us the current date each time. Now we're going to, number 5, fill the range C5 here through G9. So we've got a big space to cover here. G9, C5 through G9. Okay, so all of these numbers, and we want to format them consistent with the format and the sales data. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to fill these ranges. Okay, C5 is here, and you want to fill the range. If you'll notice, reading this backwards, B5 through B9 has a certain format. It has commas, it has 2 decimals, and it has a dollar sign. And you'll see this little guy pop up, but we're not going to work with that right now. So you can see it has all 3 of those. You can copy the format here, Format Painter, and you can just brush that across C5 through G9, C5 through G9, and you will get the exact same formatting. Your numbers won't change. Moving on to number 6, we are moving to H5 here to get a trend or a spark line. We want to insert a spark line, so we go to Insert, Line, and what do you want that? I'm going to move this, holding down my mouse, and move it right here. What do you want this spark line or trend to represent? You need some data, and that is B5 through G5. Here's B5 through G5. And you can type that in, B5 through G5 if you want to. And then we're going to click OK. And there's our trend line. And you can see it's starting at B5 and it's moving on to G5, showing you a point on that plane. So let's do that for everyone. Let's just fill that all the way down, and it wants us to fill it to H5 all the way down. We're going to stop at H9 here. Okay, so there are all of our spark lines. Let's go ahead and put in changing the color of these spark lines. Let's go in and change those colors just so we can make it look a little bit interesting, but they're picking the color brown accent 5. Not so interesting, but it's okay. It's going to match with our other colors here. Okay, so while that's still highlighted, you want to go in and put in high and low marks. High point and low point marks are going to be little dots along this trend line. So here's the high. You can see it picks the highest point, and if you click low, it picks the lowest point. Okay, so we are finished with our trend or our spark lines here. Now we want to copy the formula in I5. Here's I5. We want to copy the formula. We do not want to copy the number. So what we want to do is do a simple copy on this one. You can use your copy here, right mouse, whatever you want to do. I'm going to use my Control-C. And we want to paste this, but it's not going to be a normal paste, okay? So we want to paste it to I6 through I9. Here's I6 through I9, okay? So if we want to paste, we want to go in, and I want you to pick this paste here called Formulas and Number Formatting. And then once you finish, you can see it copied the formula for you and it gave you the answer. Moving on to number 8. In B12, we want to insert a formula using a function that divides total sales from 1 month by all the total sales. So we're going to every formula equal B9, and that's our total for July, divided by I9, which is going to be, so we're going to divide that sales in July by our total sales, and that's I9. Okay? See, there's our I9. And our answer is going to be 15%. Now, what we want to do next is make, fill our range. And to fill our range, so we don't have to do those problems again, we can just stretch that all the way over. And we get this error. Now, sometimes you'll get that error if this is not an absolute. Okay, so let's change that. So for that not to happen, you have got to make I9 absolute here. So to do that, you can hit your F4, or you can put a $sign before the column I and after the column I. Okay? Now when you have your 15% and you drag and fill, you will get the correct percentage. Making that an absolute tells you that number never will change. So you will get the correct answer now. So let's go into number 9. Number 9 is an if function. We need to go to B16 here. In B16, we want to enter a formula, an if function, that tests whether the total sales for July is greater than or equal to $275,000. Okay, I can read through that, but I'm going to show you how to do it. It'll be much faster. All formulas have an equal. You're putting in an if, because you're saying, if this happens, what will happen next? And this is how your formula is going to be. If B9, okay, is your July total, is greater than or equal to 275,000. Do not put any commas in, please. Comma, meaning what's going to happen next. If it is greater than or equal to $275,000, we want to give somebody something. So what are we going to give them? We're going to give them 26% as a commission. So we want to do B9 times 0.26, because that is the commission if it is a true statement. If it is a false statement, then we want another comma to say B9. Let me go back in here and put in a little space. B9 times 0.17, and you're getting that information in number 9. So we want to close that up with the parentheses, and your answer should be this, and this should be your formula. And it reads, if the condition is true, you're multiplying B9 times 26%. If the condition is false, it's B9 times 17%. So you're getting that amount here. Okay, so we can now fill that all the way across all the months, and we won't have to worry about repeating that. And we've got a little trend working here. Okay, so we don't really like these type of trends, so we want to do another spark line. So in H16 and H17, these two, we want to use these type of spark lines. So let's change that by going into design, and we want to use a line, and we also want to change the color. This time we're going to make it dark red. Here is our dark red, accent 1, darker 50% is here, here, here. Darker 50, there it is at the very bottom. Okay, Perfect. Now you can click off and see your spark lines. Next, we want to go in and we go to our data tab, what if analysis, goal seek, and you will get this box. And I'm going to move it down here so we can kind of see when it changes. Okay, so your set cell is going to be I-26, okay, because that's the total here. We want to change that value to 35. Okay, that's your value. And then by changing the average number of retail merchandising clients, which is in I-23, which is empty. So we put in I-23 and okay. Now watch what happens. Okay, do that. Click here first. Go to what if, goal seek. Okay, the first one is I-26. Okay, because that's where the number is. Then we want to put in the value it's going to change to 35. I had it opposite. And we want to make that I-23 because that's where the answer needs to be. And as you can see, I click OK and that changes. So that 35 is now what you're dealing with your averages. You can see these average numbers for all these categories, and then there's your average. Okay? You're trying to seek a goal of a certain amount of money or whatever objects, and now the goal is 35. So that's what you changed. Now we want to format the text in J21, and J21 is here. Okay? And as you can see, this hangs off here and it doesn't have anything underneath it. So what we want to do is merge these cells. So we want to merge all of these cells here. Okay, I'm going back to my home and I'm going to merge and center. Okay, a little bit better, but it still reads a little odd. So we want to rotate that. Okay, so while that's up here, and now still with that highlighted after you've merged and centered, go to this button called orientation and we want to rotate that. And we want to rotate it, according to Sam, rotate it down. Rotate text down and you should look like this. Good job. So now we're going to move on and change the column width to 7. So again, you can go into format, column width, and put in 7. Oop, how about we take that out and put in 7. You put 7, 7.0, whichever works for you. Now we want to delete a row, number 13. Delete row 32. Here is row 32. You highlight it, right mouse, delete. It moves the next row up and it renumbers for you. So now we're going to move on to number 14. We want to create a clustered column chart as a visual aid to some non-adjacent, meaning some columns and rows that aren't touching each other. So what we want to do is start with A21 here, and we want to copy to B25. So this. So hold down your control key now, because we're going to copy something else that's not touching or is non-adjacent. And that's going to be G21 through G25. Okay? Perfect. You see those are both highlighted. So now we want to create a clustered column chart from that. So if you'll go into Insert, Charts, I like to just open up the chart so you can see everything by launching it, and I will move that over here, and All Charts. So we can go to Column Chart here, and which one's a clustered column chart? This one here, clustered column. As you can see, the next one's stacked. So we're going to click this one and click OK, and we now have our new chart. So I'm going to move this just for now. Sam will have us reposition it. We're going to go in and change the chart title. I like to just highlight over it and just start typing. It's a little easier. Estimated sales :, Jan and June. That's going to be your chart title. And now Sam wants us to move that chart by holding down your left mouse. And so you can move it anywhere you want. Reposition it. Upper left corner is A33. That's here. And I'm going to stop it so I know it's in the right place. And then we're going to do the bottom lower right corner, E45. So we're going to need to stretch that out to E45. Go down a little and over a little. And we are in the right spot right there. 45 and drop it. Now we want to change the chart layout to layout number 5. And I like to go to the quick layout. That way you can do 1, 2, 3. I'm probably going to be this one. Layout 5. And you are finished with this module. Thank you.